Welcome back to 21 Minute Reads with me, Maya D. In these weekly 5-minute videos, I share with you my 3 takeaways from my current read. Right now, I'm reading The Black Dancing Body by Brenda Dixon-Gottschild. As a part of the Read 21 and 21 challenge, I read 21 minutes per day, every day, as a way to love myself, to provide myself with some consistency in an ever changing world. This week I read pages 19 through 40, and here are my 3 takeaways. Let me get my notes because this book offers a lot of information. Takeaway number 1, it's a two-way street. In a cultural exchange, in a healthy cultural exchange, it's a two-way street. There's a giving and a taking. But understanding and remembering that there's a clear line between appreciation and appropriation, which takes me to number 2. I'm going to call this A cubed. BDG, Brenda Dixon-Gottschild, offers this idea of appropriation, approximation, assimilation, aka the watered down effect. In this process, someone from a culture visits another culture, takes that thing, brings it back to their culture, and molds it in a way that fits the aesthetic of that dominant culture, right? So with this notion in mind, we see the space of black dance forms having to take on the aesthetic, a white aesthetic, in order to be valued and validated. That notion that BDG offered completely summarized my undergrad experience. I came to undergrad as an adult with a family that had been in a professional company for over a decade, traveled the world, researching, performing, teaching classes, all within the traditional or neo-traditional West African dance world. But I was told that I still needed to be a dancer, right? I still needed to do these other things in order to be a dancer. I use that experience as a tool, a reference point to check myself and to make sure that I am not devaluing the experiences of my students, because their experience is exactly that. It's their experience. It holds value. It holds knowledge, right? Bill T. Jones offers this idea of a machine. He says that there's this machine that's pumping out hundreds of voices of many different races that all sound like Aretha Franklin. Well, why is that? Movement therapies kind of give us a window into why that is. In the space of movement therapies, where we are now, they replaced this idea of superior and inferior modes of thinking with the mindset that alignment, habits, cultural movement choices, exposure are what shape the body. What shapes your, not just the body, but also what shapes your technique, how you use your technique, what shapes that form that you go to. So with that in mind, given equal access, absent of social political barriers, anybody, right, can do a form. So when you think about these generalizations, these gross generalizations that are applied to the black dancing body, the long shin, the large functioning heel that allows for higher jumps while still maintaining a slender calf, the gluteus maximus, the larger gluteus maximus, the ability to isolate the lower body, the lower part of your spine in contractions. You realize that through exposure, through time, anyone could be shaped like this. Anyone could move like this. Which brings me to my 3rd takeaway and my final takeaway, which is a quote from Brenda Dixon-Gottschild. It says, in a nutshell, body type is not fixed and static, but fluid and mutable. Hope this offered you some insight. Make sure you drop that insight in the comments. Make sure you subscribe and turn on your alerts so that I'll see you next week for next week's reading. Have a great day.